Hey boys and girls, Mr. McCauley here. I'm going to be away for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I have a crazy week. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start you on some activities around logos until I arrive. Okay? So let's just quickly talk about logos. What are they? What do they do? They are this little graphic representation of a company or an organization. It really is like the small little name tag that they hope is very recognizable. So when you go shopping and you see Puma or Nike or something like that, instantly you'll recognize that. Hopefully you attach warm emotions to those icons and to those companies, and hopefully then you will buy their products. It's kind of like a quick name tag representation. So let's take a look and sort some logos. All these logos have something in common. Can you guess what it is? Right, they all have animals. A lot of animals show up in logos, I guess because they have different, different characteristics that companies like to take advantage of. Here's another one. All these are the same because color. Color is very important. These ones all have red and yellow. And the colors that you select for your logo should represent, should mean something to you. Some colors are exciting, some colors are strong, some colors like green are comforting. So make a wise choice when you design your logos. What about these guys? These guys all have a similar oval shape. Shapes often are found in logos. You'll see squares or triangles or circles or different things. So consider shapes when you are designing your own logos. What about all these? What do they have in common? You're right, they're just words. Some logos just have an interesting font and then the word, the name of the company. That is one way to go when you're designing a logo. Okay, if these are just words, then what about these guys? You're right, none of these have words. If you're a super famous logo, a super famous company, you can get away with not having any words. But if you're starting out, I wouldn't advise it. So when you're looking at designing logos or studying logos, you're going to think about the color. You think about the shapes that can be used, whether or not you want an animal, whether or not there's words or no words. Okay? Today to start off, I'm going to have you do what I did with some of my other classes, and that is to find some logos that you really like. If you want to see some examples, look at the papers I hung up on my back wall. Okay? Let's jump over the iPad to explain how that's going to work. Okay, so on the iPad today, you're going to open up Explain Everything. Oh, by the way, you need to be using only a white iPad because those are the ones that I've signed out for us for the next couple of days. Hopefully you've been using a white iPad. If that's the case, you're going to go to Explain Everything. You're going to make sure you start a new project by going plus. Doesn't really matter what color you choose. It's best though if you have a white background. And so now I'm going to insert in here some logos that I like. Now, to do that, we're going to use the internet. So I'm going to go to Safari and I'm going to do a search for logos. Here's a whole bunch of logos. I want an individual logo. So let's say I want to start with the Nike logo. So I'm going to type in Nike logo and away I go. And I want to make sure I pick images and then I'm going to pick a Nike logo. Now some of these are kind of a stylized logo. That's not what I would really say is a classic Nike logo. Let's say something like this I like. Now it can be very difficult sometimes to get to be able to copy this. So I'm going to show an easy way of doing that. Okay? Make your logo as large as you can, and then by pushing the home button on the front of the iPad and the off button kind of on the top of the iPad together at the same time, you can take a screenshot. And when you do, it sounds something like this. It takes a picture. So you have to do the home button and the off button all at the same time. Okay? So now when I go back to explain everything, and I insert a picture by clicking on this green plus here, choose an existing photo, and I go to the camera roll, there's my Nike logo. Now it's got, the rest of the stuff around it that I don't want, but I click on this cropping tool. I can crop it, say done, and done again, and there it is in my explain everything. I would like you to have about 8 or 9 logos on here, and finally you're going to add your name over here as well. Logos by Mr. M. So find logos for things that you're interested in. Of course, you could use soccer clubs, you could use sports things, you could use food, you could use companies, you could use computer software, computer companies, anything you want. A little bit of everything. Don't do all soccer teams. Come on. I guess a flag you could use too, because that is kind of like a logo of a company, although it's not quite the same. Your job is to fill up this with logos. When you're all done, you can send it to the camera roll by, again, pushing the home button and the off button. There you go. It's in the camera roll. I'm done, Mr. Macaulay. That is your job for the next couple of days. Good luck, boys and girls.